Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to ELE Sports Stadium for this 2021 National Fastpitch Championship. It's the Women's Day here on Diamond 1, and it has been a stellar day here in the sun. This matchup is game 31 of 55 in the schedule. We're well over halfway as we get closer to Championship Sunday. This matchup, Wellington taking on Canterbury, just started. Amy Begg on the hill for Canterbury. I'm Damien Collins bringing you the play-by-play, and I'm joined in the booth by one of New Zealand's best. She is the battery coach, Jennifer Ferret-Bearer. G'day, mate.
Hello, good to be here. Just getting here in time with the Auckland traffic. Lovely today, but we're here and we're ready to rock.
Indeed, indeed. You've had a big week, so I won't ask you how you felt about the tournament so far. Of course, you're in the 04, but you're here now. The lead off of Beyonce Ruhutai. Skies up where Canterbury make the play for the first out. Jennifer, I'm sure you've been to a lot of NFCs, mate. How do you find the tournament, and what do you like about it?
What I like is that it's the best of every region, and it's really nice to see some different competition every year. And hey, look, every year it varies, because even though you've seen maybe Amy the year before, maybe she stepped up her game this year, and people are working on their craft year round. So it's a big deal to represent your region. So yeah, everything all out there.
Absolutely, mate. Well, you would be happy because today we have seen some stellar pitching from a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 17-year-old. So, mate, I'm sure there's a few young names on your list to be in the development for later honours, hopefully with that silver fern for some ladies.
Yeah, well, that's quite a young age to represent at such a high level. So there's a couple things you got to think about there. But the main thing is, it's good exposure for the young ones and
Absolutely.
Really stepping in at such a high level.
Madison Lovett, Maddie to most, gets a piece, sends it to the shortstop, Cassie Sayataga, who makes the play to first for the second out. When was your last NFC, Jen?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't even know what year we are in anymore. I kind of wrote off last year.
Definitely not 2020, mate. It's definitely behind us.
2019, I believe. Yeah, because we after that we had the Olympic qualifier in September, and that was when I hung up my cleats. But I actually
Have you
injured?
actually
I might have been injured for that one?
Have you actually hung them up? Is it official?
Well, I can tell you that I don't know where they are in my house, so that's probably a good start.
Well, that's definitely a good start. Doesn't mean they're hung up though.
Yeah, it's hard.
Every tournament I've seen Jennifer at, she's doing the wind up. She's testing out the knees. Like, I can see the itch is still there.
Oh, it's definitely there.
The mind there, the body not so much.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, for now we're gonna rest.
For now, I like it.
You never know.
I like it. Said with a grin. Big, another ball, 2-1 pitch, 2 out. We're in the top of the first.
Begg really working that up and in, and that is one of her go-to pitches. So Wellington obviously prepared for that and laying off at this moment.
Coco Latour grounds out to the shortstop, who guns it over to the first, and that will retire the side. With 3 batters up and 3 batters down, we will go to the bottom of the first. No score in this one. We'll be back in just Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ELE Sports Stadium here at the beautiful Rosedale Park in Albany, Auckland. You're watching the 2021 presentation of the Golden Homes National Fastpitch Championship. It is game 31 of 55, and we are on our second to last game of Diamond 1 today. Here is the lineup for Wellington. Let's go. We'll go in the lineup. In at left field, we've got Beyonce Ruhutai. In at second base, Madison Lovett. Right field, Peyton and Coco Latour. In at third base, Hope Weber. Centre field is Danielle Tenor. The catcher is Emma Francis. Apriera Stone is on first base. Shortstop is Casey Downs. The designated player is Irene Landon Lane. And the pitcher is Miriama Potter. The batting lineup for Canterbury. In at one is Elisa Laurie. Kaya Ratu in at second. Michaela Wirawiku is in at third. Fourth, Lucy McIntyre. Cassie Siataga in at 5. 6 is Narissa McDowell. Elizabeth Rice in at 7. Stella Jorgensen in 8. And in 9, the cleanup is Carly Wirahiku. We are due to start here. On the mound, Potter. What do we know about Potter, Eugene?
Potter here, so she's had a few years experience on the mound, but really young, up and coming, so really interested to see her what she's throwing and what is her go-to. I think Canterbury will be trying to suss her out early.
Clip in the zone for a strike called. Puts her in the hole early. Alyssa Laurie leading off for Canterbury. Tell me, Jen, how you've got an arsenal of pitches at this level. You know what to throw. You know what zones to hit. What kind of game plan do you play with your batters? Do you get to feel them out? Do you get to know, throw the pitches knowing what they want to hit? Or are you just going to pitch what you want to pitch to the zone?
That's a really good question. I think it depends on how long you're around, for starters.
Yep.
Towards the latter end of my career, knowing that the batters knew me just as well as I knew them. But really going into any sort of tournament, you really want to know your batter and what they're hitting well, what they're seeing well, because that can change from tournament to tournament. So really having a game plan, but really for every pitcher, having 3 solid pitches to be able to mix up and spot up. Spots are more important than anything else, spots and spins. If you can do that, then you can actually play around. First at bat is just seeing what the batter's seeing well.
Fantastic. Well, she's hitting the zone with that one, with the 1 up and 1 down. Strikeout of the first batter, Alyssa Laurie. And that will bring to bat Kaya Ratu with Michaela Wirahiku on deck. First out in the bottom of the first here. Both teams will want to stamp their mark. Both teams haven't had the easier of tournaments just yet. Of course, Canterbury going down to Southern Pride yesterday, the talk of the town, when we had the girls in there earlier. As soon as we mentioned it, grin from ear to ear. And they're against Amy Berg as well, so
Yeah,
something to write home about.
And that's a big deal for Pride. They obviously coming from the South, not having as much experience and competition down there. So that's a big step up and point to make, coming out against one of your top New Zealand pitchers and saying, actually, no, we're in this. We can still hang with you. So good on them.
Well, I know some of the girls in the Pride, where they play in Invercargill or in Dunedin, they play in men's grades. But I'm not too sure. Is there a good women's grade in Canterbury?
Yeah. There's a handful of teams that's actually been growing. It's a little bit different this year. I think it's a bit harder with the imports not being there to support like they were in the last few years. And that's a whole other debate in itself. But, I do feel, being an import myself, I do feel there is a place for imports to help raise the game, as long as it's, you're still bringing up your young ones at the same time.
Here's me been trying to figure out where on the island their accent's from, Jen.
It's a hybrid.
You're Kiwi as me. Well, look at that. Ratu getting a piece into the left field. Just dropping over the shortstop and well before the left field. And that'll be a base hit.
And that's a good piece of batting right there from Ratu, because early in the count, swinging down and in and missing and making that adjustment. Another down and in pitch, able to get the bat on ball this time and making the adjustment. And now she finds herself on first base, helping her team out early in the game. So well done.
We talk of you as the battery coach, but of course you were a hitter. You were a batter for a long time, weren't you?
Yes, I love hitting. I was probably started out more of a batter than I was a pitcher.
Of course.
Even in high school, I was a shortstop growing up, and then high school I was only a first baseman, and then it wasn't until uni that I actually became a pitcher.
Wow. We were talking about this earlier, me and Chopper, in the last game, seeing there's only been a couple pitchers that are actually batting. And what kind of focus is that? Is that literally just so you can go into the dugout and just focus on your job at hand, or go back out and instead of changing it up and go and try and have a swing?
Yeah, I think it totally depends on the player, and I think there's a lot of pitchers that do really well as batters. They understand what the other opponent pitcher is trying to do to them, so I think they can be successful.
Wow.
Nice piece here.
Ratu.
Michaela Warehiko hitting the left center gap.
I'm glad you're backing me up here, Jen.
All good. Stand up double for Warehiko, which moves the runners to 2 and 3 with 1 out for Canterbury. But yeah, like I was saying, with pitchers, it is sometimes an advantage to hit because you know what the opponent pitcher is trying to do, but it's also a safety thing because if your pitcher goes down, it does hurt the team. But some pitchers need that calm. They need that time to go back into the dugout. They want to see what's coming up, and that's not always an option when you're trying to run, hit the ball. You're out on the bases, and you don't have that time to gather yourself.
Outstanding. Yes, no, I'll make sure that I'm on track with my paperwork now. Whenever I'm around you, Jennifer, I end up interviewing you, don't I? When I'm just sitting outside watching the game, and it's like, 20 questions later. Thanks, Damien.
Give me something to talk about. I don't mind, and you can keep doing the paperwork. I'll just sit here and have a chat.
Love it. Just outside on the pitch, Lucy McIntyre now at the first base, up for a bat. 2 runners in scoring position, just 1 out. Ratu on third.
So we'll see if Potter goes at Lucy McIntyre knowing that she has a big, strong swing, but you have first base available. Do you go out early in a game? Tight on her hands, really, really good. So we've seen Potter working that down and in a lot on the batters, and with some pretty good success. And what I've noticed is she's just in and out, and a lot of our pitches are down. But down's good. Down keeps it in the ballpark, and spotting up, like we said, is key. So she's really started strong, even though we have runners on base. But I think her game plan is to just keep hitting those corners.
Fantastic. Well, they get a piece, and they go for the tag at home and get it easy. Wellington will stop that 1 run. Casey Downs at shortstop, making the field and gunning it down to home plate.
Yeah, well done. And that's the type of softball that we need to see at NFC at this level. This should, shortstop should be playing in, knowing there's a runner on, and getting that out at home because you don't want the other team to put a run on the board. And sometimes it's that first run making that statement. So well done to them. Runners on first and third now. We'll see if they steal over to 2.
And you got to be smart, don't you, Jenny? I mean, these players at this level, they're all elite players, and we have noticed where some of the areas have come in hasn't necessarily been the young players or put any kind of experience on it. It's just those ones that you're not thinking of the next step. Where am I going to throw this ball, instead of just catching it and then looking around and what's next, always knowing what's going on around you.
And that is what is so hard about softball, and it's like a game of chess, and it's what if this and this, and then you need to know all the options before the ball is hit, and that's the next phase is when you're an advanced softball player, an elite softball player, is you get the ball. Not only can you react with speed and play with speed, but reacting as far as knowing where to go with that ball. Absolutely.
Well, Canterbury with runners on the corners. They now have Cassie Siataga in at bat, the shortstop.
So you'll see the runner over at first base, Lucy McIntyre, not stealing 2 at this point, because with 2 outs, unless you have someone who's absolutely certain going to get to second, probably in their best interest with a really good batter like Cassie Siatag up to bat, you actually take your chances on Cassie hitting the ball deep.
Yep. There's been a few trying to play that game in the corners. That's fair. Game of inches, and it stayed in inches in the right side. And that will score the first runs of the ball game with Wirahiko and McIntyre Siataga standing up pretty on second base. And that's a great start for Canterbury.
Yeah, so 2 runs ahead, like we said, making that statement in the very first inning, coming out saying, hey, we're here. And especially Canterbury, before going down to Southern Pride, they really need to prove that actually we're still in this. We're not done yet.
Absolutely. Day 2. Still a full day tomorrow, and then championship Sunday. That's skied, where Downs is under it. She makes the play. They will leave 1 on, but that will retire the side, and we will go to the top of the second innings. In this one, Canterbury take the early lead, and they lead this one.
Within the ELE group, we have a range of companies and a very wide range of people. We have 3 core values: growing together. That means with our staff, our stakeholders, and of course with people like you, our customers. Building tomorrow today to build a better tomorrow for us and our customers. And thirdly, keeping it real. Doing things that are going to work for everybody and being mindful of the fact that we're not a corporate, we still have a family feel about our business.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ELE Sports Stadium. You're watching the 2021 Golden Homes National Fastpitch Championship, better known as NFC. Let's set the defensive lineup for Canterbury that are out in the field now. On the mound, Amy Begg. Behind the dish, Carly Werehiko. In at first base, Lucy McIntyre. Second base, Kaya Ratu. And Michaela Werehiko on third base in the hot corner. Shortstop, Cassie Siataga. In the left field is Elisa Laurie. Narissa McDowell, just at the end. Narissa McDowell is in at center field. And Stella Jorgensen in at right field.
I got you. Those big, long last names, eh?
Well, just when I saw the M. It's like, oh, yep, okay. Leading off for Wellington, the veteran third base, is Hope Webber. Big foul ball.
I didn't even get a chance to say it. Every time Hope comes up, and she'll love this, but every time I said, you know, she's a big hitter. She's someone who stood out from the very beginning when I arrived in New Zealand, and she was back part of in 2011, part of that White Sox squad that was going away to the Gillies series over in Australia. So she's been around the game for a long time. Went away, had a few kids, had a couple kids, and now she's back at it, and she's looking awesome, and she's really ready to step up and show what she can do.
Fantastic. We were talking earlier about the youth that we've got out there this weekend at NFC, and I was saying to Chopper, I mean, how do we keep them in the game? But I guess don't have kids would be the one way to keep them in the game.
Oh, but you know what? There are so many mamas out there playing,
absolutely.
And I have so much respect. I know personally, I waited. It was always an excuse for me, but in fairness, it's a tough gig. But there are so many women out there still dominating this game and having children, and so much respect to them. Hats off.
Big hit from Webber, straight up the middle. She'll go into first easy. Yes, fielded by Narissa McDowell. In the center field.
And Webber answering back. So Canterbury going up with 2 runs. Webber is the leadoff batter. Her job is to rally and come back and shift that momentum, and that's what she's done. She said, "No, we're coming back. I'm going to start this off," and well done. And that's experience right there.
Nice. Well, she's on 1, and that will bring to bat the center fielder Danielle Tenor. Lucy McIntyre, body on the line stuff, just goes foul, but she gave everything she had to it. A foul ball to Tenor.
So after day 1, Tanoa with 4 RBIs. So already up on the stats, so someone who can put the ball into the outfield, someone that Canterbury now needs to be careful with.
Inside pitch goes foul.
Amy doing a really good job of keeping that ball tight on the hands. It's really, really hard to get your hands around on an inside pitch, especially when you have a bit of speed. So you'll see that bit behind the ball, not able to get the hands through and really tied her up on that pitch.
Inside, popped up, goes foul, and easy catch made by Michaela Wiederhickel.
And that's smart catching as well, because Carly's going to be back there calling the game, and she's going to be telling Amy, hey, look, we just got her on that inside. Let's throw it again. Until she proves she can hit it, we're going to keep throwing it. And they threw 2 back-to-back and making lighter work for Amy.
Emma Francis, the catcher, up now. Gets a piece, sending it to the second base, where they make the play and get the double. Ratu pops it up to Siataga, who guns it to first and McIntyre. And just like that, Jennifer, 2 away, makes 3 down. Well, Canterbury look like Wellington. We're going to get some momentum there, but not so much. Gas down by 2 out by Canterbury. We'll take a quick break. Canterbury still leading this one as we go to the bottom of the second. Matchup game 31 of the 2021 National Fastpitch Championship. Let's look at the defensive lineup for Wellington. Let's go for the outfield. Right field, we've got Peyton Coco Latour. In at center field, we've got Danielle Tenor. Beyonce Rihutai is in at left field. In the hot corner, Hope Weber. Casey Downs is in at shortstop. Second base, Madison Lovett. At first base, Apriera Stone. Behind the dish, Emma Francis. And on the mound, Miriama Potter. First innings, Canterbury got 2 runs. Hit back to the pitch. Potter makes no mistake about it, gunning it over first for the first out.
Over to Stone for the ground out and out. Number 1.
1-3, not 3-1.
And up to bat the
Get it right.
number 6, Stella.
Now batting is the right fielder. She's wearing 6, Stella Jorgensen. Do you have a number, Jen?
13.
13 was your number? Lucky
Yes.
for some?
Yes. Yes. Grew up always my number. When I first came to New Zealand, I hopped around to a few numbers. Yep, some other teammates had it, but finally, waited patiently, and I got my 13.
Nice.
Yeah. It's funny though, numbers are, and I suppose softball being superstitious, but there's,
No.
I'll see, I know, right? I'll see numbers and I'll actually think of teammates. When I see numbers, I'll be driving and be like, oh, number 8. And I actually think of one of my high school teammates. We called her Tink.
Tink.
Tink, yep.
Another play there from Weber to Stone at first base for the second out. And just like that, 1-2. They're down to the last. But we're still at the bottom of the second. And coming up to bat now is Carly Wiederhickel. This is the catcher. Batting at 9.
Where he can also here, one of 3 sisters, but she's the oldest and she's a very experienced player, been around a long time. One of the perfect examples of mama out there doing her thing and doing it well.
There's a few sisters around the traps this weekend. Few brothers as well in the men's grade, even father and sons. So we're one big happy family in softball. 1-1's the count. Potter gets her call.
So you'll see the experience showing through, being very patient here, making sure she gets her pitch. Just really, again, first at bat, sussing out the pitcher, figuring out what she's throwing, and really what she wants to sit back on and drive.
Hits the zone for the 2-2 pitch.
And it's also working out the umpire zone early in the game. Give me a good talking point there. You know, and every umpire is a bit different, and especially when you are working with new umpires and coming up from different regions. You have to, first inning is also learning about the umpire.
Ridahiko getting a piece, sending it to the right field. But Peyton Coco Latour goes back and catches it to make the play. That's the third out. Quick innings there. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the top of the third with Canterbury still leading this one. 3 runs to 0.
To keep our prices so low, we've come a long way since our first TV ad. No, we haven't. They're still simple and low budget, so we can keep delivering you the lowest prices possible. Pack and save. Our policy, New Zealand's lowest food prices.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, in this matchup between Wellington and Canterbury. I'm Damien Collins here to bring you the play-by-play, and joined in the booth, calling the colour, Jennifer Ferret. Breer.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Keep it simple?
Keep it simple with the double barrel name.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Thanks. So, question that I was going to ask in the first innings, but I thought I'd hold off, and I know it's only the third, but you are here. I'm going to talk about it. The block being used this weekend.
Yes.
Is that good? Are you happy about that?
I am a huge fan of the block because that is international softball. That is what you play everywhere.
Yep.
And so coming to New Zealand and switching to a mat was very, very challenging because it completely changes your game as a pitcher. You're pushing off differently, you're landing differently. And yes, it's nice to have that consistency, but when you have a block, your toes can sink down and you can get so much more drive. And when you have that drive, you can add spin, you can add power, speed, and it really changes a pitcher. So some of these pitchers who haven't pitched on blocks a lot might be struggling in the first day or so just to get that feeling. But at the same time, I also know Rosedale is quite challenging with the blocks because it does dig up quite a bit. There is an art to actually maintaining a softball field, and this dirt in particular is very hard to maintain, so it digs out quite easily, which presents its own challenges.
So are we going to see an advantage here from the likes of Auckland Harbour, who get to play here a little bit more regular than the other players, other provinces around?
Yeah, and look, I haven't played this year, but I know historically we still use mats on this field when it is not that, when it's just club softball. So I actually don't know if this season they've been using the mats or the blocks, but from what I've heard, it has been a bit of a challenge more so than helping thus far. But it's international softball. We need to get used to the blocks.
We have to. So how do we get to that? We get better groundsmen around the country?
We need to train up our groundsmen. we need to send them away, do maybe some
bring them to Rosedale. Well, states, yes, absolutely.
And it's hard. I mean, and we have different fields. We have a lot of turf fields because the weather here is hard. So again, another challenge. So having turf is it's great because you can play in mixed conditions. It doesn't mean I like turf. Softball is meant to be played on dirt, but I'd rather play a game than nothing at all and get rained out every weekend. So
I don't get it.
It's adjusting. It's always adjusting to the game. A different strategy.
Well, Stone getting a piece of that, sending it up the middle, and she will run into first. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get the all-weather diamonds. I just don't get it. I know Fraser Park has one, and, you know, I love my Fraser Park, but I just don't get it.
Yeah, well, again, like we were talking about challenges, for me as a pitcher, it makes the ball harder to hold on to, and it really shows the importance. You need that rosin, something to grip, because it makes that ball just a little bit slimy, and anybody who knows me knows that I struggle on turf. Bunt being put down. Ooh, a little bit of miscommunication here. Bit of a bobble, and we now have runners on 1 and 2. Well laid down bunt.
That was precision by
Casey Downs.
Downs, yeah. And coming through to scoop it up, where the heckle, well, not usually she'd drop that, but maybe threw the ball before she'd even picked it up.
And Wahiko, so that's the youngest sister over there on third base, Michaela, affectionately known as Fatty. But she is a stellar third baseman. When I first came to New Zealand, again, 10, 11 years ago, she was a standout to me, and I said that this kid's the best third baseman in New Zealand at the time, because she's quick on her feet, she reacts to the ball. Well, this time Lara was out of the country, so we know that Lara is, you know, New Zealand White Sox third baseman.
You're right, I guess, yeah.
But at that time, she was over in the States and playing a bit of pro ball over there. So at the time when I came in, Fatty was it for me. She did a really good job.
Another bunt put down from Wellington. Moving the runners. Wow, we haven't seen a bunt game like this so far in the tournament. It's been big hitting and trying to find the gaps, but Wellington using the short game to the key.
And bunting is key. It is so often overlooked, and it is such a bit. Well, we see with a runner on one laying down that sacrifice bunt. So actually, the intent of a sacrifice bunt is to sacrifice yourself as a batter to advance your runner. But in this case, miscommunication, we end up with runner on 1 and 2. Why not try it again? You're moving runners to 2 and 3. And, you know, you might get another bobble and have bases loaded, but otherwise you're still sacrificing your runner, and you have 1 out with runners on 2 and 3. And we just perhaps showed for bunt again. Maybe it's a fake bunt. Maybe it's just to get the defense off base. But now you'll see Lucy McIntyre and Michaela Wahiko, first and third base, coming in, crashing in, ready for perhaps a squeeze play. And that's what you do. You bring them in. You think, oh, we're going to do it again, and then she's swinging on that, so it's easier to get out into the field and score your runs. So, and that's the beauty of softball. It's a game of chess. It's a game of thinking. You know, you have to be one up on the opponent, and it's. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well put. It is, it can be such a simple game. Catch, throw, bat, but yes, no. Once you get to this level, it ain't that simple. Well, Amy Beck gets a strikeout. And
helping herself out there. That's really key as a pitcher, is being able to help yourself out in these situations. And, you know, you do want to rely on your defense, but when you know, you're like, I can help myself and go at this girl, that's what you do. You step up and you make the difference.
It was actually the first K we've seen on Diamond 1 in the last 2 games. What's he calling? He's calling out. Well, Cassie Siataga gets it over in time to retire the side, and that is out number 3. Wellington will go to the bottom of the third. Canterbury still leading this one, 2-0. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after.
He might not look like much in an apron, but that's John Miller, loving husband, relatively reliable plumber, and holder of the Bledisloe Cup and 2 Investex Super Rugby titles. Don't let the heels fool you. Wendy crushed 2 of the biggest names in men's tennis to go all the way at Wimbledon. Tony, one of New Zealand's most impressive multi-sport players. Try playing and taking out a rugby league grand final, a grand slam, and the New Zealand Cup all at once. Mary Adams came from nothing to take Cleveland to the playoffs. Where to next? Well, she won the New Zealand Derby with Ginger Nuts. Finally, meet Richard Sykes, a man with many loves, 80s hip-hop, his dog Bark Twain, and winning, specifically, the Cup final at Wembley. Now it's your turn. TAB, now you're in the game.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. It is the top of the third innings. Wellington, Canterbury. Canterbury leading this one 2-0. Leading off for Canterbury.
Number 5.
I am on the right page. Alyssa Laurie, sorry. I've always been so good at my admin. Nuts.
We're just having so many good chats back here. We're forgetting to look at the papers.
I swear people, it's a stitch up this weekend for me. Absolute stitch up. Second burger of the weekend. And I can't even eat it. Kyla Bromhead's come to do some commentary. Maybe not. Alyssa Laurie. And a bat. Second at bat for her. Another swing and a miss.
Well, Jamie, we've got a special guest coming up shortly. For you guys, so keep on going here. You can find out what Auckland's got coming up.
Can you say her name right though? We couldn't. Alyssa Laurie getting a piece of it, sending it to the left field. And that is that her standing up on first base. And that's how Canterbury want to open their innings. Finding a gap and getting a person on base. Those are very bright shoes, Jennifer.
Yeah, thanks. They're new. I thought I'd go for the obnoxious American kind of vibe.
Another bunt goes down. Perfect. But Hope Webb is up and she scoops it up to make the play. To gun it over to first for the first out.
And up at third baseman number 4,
Michaela Wedahiko, the third base, coming in for a bat now. She scored last at bat. She's got the goods. I'm not going to say her nickname, but Jennifer has just been dropping it left, right, and centre.
Yeah, I guess you can do that as a teammate. She'll respond to that before she responds to her first name, to be honest.
I look forward to hearing all the nicknames. I'm just going to keep writing them down, keep a notebook.
Wellington here with a 500 batting average after day 1. So 50% of the time she's on base, which we know that a 300 batting average is considered good at this level. So batting 500 is stellar.
Fantastic. Another short ball down the first baseline, and she's safe. Okay, the Wedahiko with the wheels.
Safe there over the first. One of 3, 1 out. And up to bat the first baseman number 20, Lucy McIntyre.
Well, just the 1 out here.
Speaking of stats, I see number 6 on the stats after day 1, batting 500, is Tyon Bromhead Lamalu. And we have Kyla Bromhead here. I'm just wondering what Kyla's thinking about Tyon being number 6 on the stats after day 1. And I don't see your name, Kyla.
Thanks for that, Jen. Well, to be honest, you're about the 25th person to point that out today.
Fantastic.
But no, I'm psyched for her. She's on a good run at the moment, and she's enjoying playing her softball. And she's a young girl, so get to experience this stuff with some of the best in the country. And yeah, she's doing really well. She's picking it up.
Fantastic. Just grounded out there. Weber snatching it up, getting the out of McIntyre at first. Kyla, one day in the books. You've still got a big game this afternoon. How's the tournament been for you so far?
It's an interesting tournament, actually. It's been probably a little bit tougher in regards to how even it is around the provinces. Canterbury's turned up to play. We just took a loss from them in our 3 o'clock game. Hutt Valley, Wellington's here to play, as you can see in this game. So it's still anybody's game, even though we're only at day 2. So yeah, looking forward to the Hutt Valley game. 7 o'clock.
Now, a question I asked Jennifer before, it's NFC, it's more than 2 for you. You've been to 1 or 2.
More than 2.
As you reminded me the other day, before it was even called NFC, you've been playing it. So what do you love about this tournament? What has you coming back every year?
Well, it's changing a bit for me now as I'm sort of getting a bit older. Like, it's more around, working with the youth and the up-and-comers, I love the fact that I just walked over from Diamond 54 out in the Boondocks, but it took me 20 minutes to just get here at Diamond 1 because I stopped and talked to, 20-odd friends of mine that I've made over the years and around the country, and, ranging from 16-year-olds to 50-year-olds. So it really is a community thing, and that's what makes me coming back, is I actually don't know what I'd do if I didn't play softball. Like, this is where my family is. So.
Well, speaking of family, there are a lot around the traps. There's father and sons. We talked about sisters playing. You're one of 3.
Yep.
So, I mean, it is a big family. But what is it actually like playing next to your sibling?
Well, there is its up and downs, to be honest. But no, it's good. I mean, I've been really benefited from the fact that my sister, she knows me in and out, and vice versa. But for me, actually, it's not so much around the siblings now, it's around the mother-daughter thing. And there's actually a couple of mother-daughter combos that are around at the moment, and there was a conversation about that, is sort of at what point do we get to do that, and if it's actually ever happened before in the NFC or NPC around a mother-daughter thing. There has been sons and fathers, but so yeah, but it is, it's good. They know you like nobody else knows you. So when you do find yourself on a high or low, they're always right beside you. Yeah.
It's the quietest I've heard Jennifer for a while. I'll be honest there.
Hey, and I'll be perfectly honest. I'll throw this out there, but I have mad respect for Kyla. We're the same age. She's able to be out there and still, kiddos and everything still out there doing it. So mad respect, and we've been teammates for a heck of a long time now. So I always enjoy what she has to say. I'm always here to listen. So
me and Jen were always roomies.
Oh, that could be dangerous.
Yeah, we were, right?
The
old chicks and
won't talk about
experienced
what we
chicks.
talk about, though.
Probably not on the mics.
No.
Probably not on the mics.
Where is Jamie?
Who? Oh, my husband, who's away at South. Okay.
Kyla, big game tonight against Hutt Valley. What do you think you're going to see against them on Diamond 1 tonight?
We're going to see what Hutt Valley normally turns out to do. They come to play smart softball, but hard softball. We just had a chat about it, me and Lara, and whichever way this goes tonight, we're just going to try and make sure it's quick for everybody on the diamond and quick for those watching it. But we're both here to put on a show, so hopefully that's what comes about.
Fantastic. And lastly, as we build towards Championship Sunday, what's it going to take to see Auckland in that final?
Well, we actually just had a good sort of, it's important to have an evaluation check-in, a self-evaluation check-in, and we just did that. And we're just going to get back to our processes, and we've got some of the best players in the country, so we're going to do what we need to do as a unit to build that trust and just be able to come out here and show the kids around the park about what the sport can actually bring to you. So yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us in the commentary booth to catch up.
Kyla
Bromhead, first interview.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys.
Third NPC. Thank you, man. I always miss the chance to ask catchers how their hand is. It'd be in bits, wouldn't it, after all these years?
It's probably better that you don't ask Kyla. She's been through it all, and throwing a lot to Kyla.
Yeah.
Kyla caught for me quite often. You always feel guilty when you stitch them up, you tie them up, and you go opposite. But their hands swell up, and it's not a nice feeling. And I always feel bad for the catchers. Like, I need to gas it and throw it in there. But then, sometimes you just wiggles funny or catches it wrong. And
but just over time. And she's played the game for so long at such a level, just over time it'd just be mush, I reckon.
Yeah.
Mine would be anyway. Got wuss hands though. It is what it is. We have Peyton Koko Latour leading off for Wellington. No, we don't. I only saw the 9. My apologies. It's Hope Weber who's after Peyton. Those ponytails are killing me today. They cover up the wrong part of the number or the number in two. course, I could just look at my list and keep up with things, but
Oh, we just had a
I'm enjoying the game and I'm enjoying the bants, so it is what it is.
we had a grand old chat with Kyla there. Ooh, got her. Big swing there on that rise ball. Well done to Amy, keeping that out of the zone. And sometimes it's about being smart as a pitcher. If you know the batter's going to chase something that's not a good pitch, why would you throw them a good pitch?
Exactly. Absolutely. Danielle Tenor at bat now. Just the one out for Wellington. They've got a runner on. Hope Weber is on first base. Tenor behind in the count, 0-2. So when you get up on a batter early, you know, you've got 2 strikes on them. I mean, is it a play safe throw the waste pitch, or do you just go after them?
I think it depends on the batter. When you have a really good quality batter and you know they're going to make the adjustment, it's different. When you have maybe an inexperienced batter and you know you can go rise, rise, rise. If that's your bread and butter and they're swinging and missing, then don't make more work for yourself if you don't have to as a pitcher. You've got a long game, you've got a long tournament ahead. So I think in that situation, go for it and go right at them.
And that's the well put, Jim, because it is a lot. I mean, it's not you're not finished after this one.
Yeah.
You've still got another day and a half to go, and you know, we've already seen injuries around the traps already. One of the men's pitchers, he did his meniscus in warm-ups yesterday. He hadn't even thrown a pitch in a game, so it's a long tournament. You got to look after your body, and you can't go out day 2 and blow out.
Exactly, and so it's sometimes it is playing smarter, not harder, and again, that experience, you definitely get that the longer you play. But also, like Kyla was saying before, it's teaching these young ones and being around for the young ones to pass on that knowledge sooner than later.
Absolutely.
There's that up and in again, making the adjustment, Tanoa. So missing the first 2 up pitches, this one making the adjustment, but still not enough to do anything with it, but fouling it off at least so she keeps herself in the bat.
Yep. Well, we saw she was up 2 pitches with the strikes, but now it's a full house, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Man, how much did we talk? All I saw was that foul ball. Well, go straight up, it does, and that will keep her at bat. They almost need a funnel system, I reckon, at the top of here.
They do. I've often wondered where the balls go.
Yeah.
Typically I'm watching the game, or I'm in the stands, and I'm not really paying attention, so I don't see what happens when they go out the back. Or if they get stuck, I don't know. Seems to be the mystery. They go up and they disappear.
I will tell you one thing, at least the balls in the women's game are staying the proper colour.
Yeah, well, considering our conversation earlier, yeah, the men use slightly different grips and things to hold on to that ball.
Spidey sense.
Yeah, often in the women's game, when you get handed a ball that's black, you know it came from a men's game. Because
what does it do, though, Jennifer? What does it do?
What, having a grip?
Yeah.
Oh, it helps you spin the ball. It's all about spin because that's how you get your movement.
Doesn't your hand help with grip?
Only so much, though, and especially here.
See, I'd be scared I'd throw it over my head like you're just too grippy and I didn't release it or something.
Especially here at Rosedale, the dirt is quite fine, and so it is quite slick on the ball. So I used to have to really wipe my hands quite a bit, or using rosin that just gives you a little bit more tack.
Amy's a rosin person. Well, everyone ducked at the line, just hit the post there.
And rosin, I mean, it is about getting that tack on your hand so you can grip the ball and spin the ball. But also for some pitchers, it's about routine. Going back, picking up that rosin bag, or having that moment to just rest, reset between batters, between pitches.
Goes back to that superstition, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, but also having a routine as a pitcher, as a batter, as a fielder. By doing the same thing every time, that's how you get better, is because you can mimic that action and you can repeat it and do it again. And that's how you learn, and you have that base to work off of that foundation.
Off the short part of the bat, caught, and a double play. Ball went up, you hold up on the base, but it didn't happen that time. Hope Weber caught in no man's land, and that will retire the side. It's a tight one here in game 31. Canterbury leading this. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back.
G'day, my name's Brent Mulholland. I'm the Managing Director of ELE. I guess what makes ELE quite different from others is all of our people have a technical and management skill set in the sectors that we operate. So ELE as a business operates in the civil, transport, construction, engineering and oil and gas sectors. We have branches in Christchurch, Wellington, Auckland, Hawke's Bay and New Plymouth, and we engage approximately 500 workers on any given day. So if you're a client looking for great staff for your business, we've got people that can help. We're easy to work with, non-corporate, and we like to think we just keep it real.
My name's Scott Mitchell. I'm the owner-manager of Fastway Canterbury. We have day-night gangs working here 24/7, so we have a need for day staff, courier drivers, office staff and night crew workers as well. Probably about 12 months ago, started working with ELE, namely through recruitment in our office working team here through to our night crew, labouring crew, as and when required.
So if you're a client looking for great staff for your business, we've got people that can help. We have recruitment from all around the country and also abroad, and that brings a level of skill and expertise.
Oh yeah!
Again, another mama.
Another mama.
Another mama. Talking about mamas of softball.
We all worship you. Oh, we can go back to the family thing. Didn't you play your niece before?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. We've got a niece as well. Auntie and a niece. Chopper's got aunties everywhere. Oh, are we back? Thanks, guys. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the top of the fourth. I think my contacts are working that. Yep, bottom of the fourth. Canterbury batting. Canterbury also leading this one 2-0. We good? We got another special guest in the booth today, talking about mamas of softball. Ashley Johnston, welcome.
Hi, how's it going?
Very, very well. How are you getting on, mate? How's the first couple of days been?
Good, actually. Yeah, just having a lot of fun, to be honest.
I see you guys got some new uniforms, new
We
kit.
do, yeah, a bit different, but they're real light, so airy.
How long has it been since Hut's had some new unis? It's been a while, eh?
It has, yeah. Last year we had the men's strip, so this year, yeah, new uniforms will be matched too with the men's, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's be honest. You can be honest with us. No one's gonna listen. How's the new coach getting on?
Awesome, actually. Yeah, real good. Our management this year's really nice. Like the girls are all vibing really well. So yeah, and it starts from the top. So.
And how important is that? So we've seen, a lot of, you've played for a handful of different teams and a handful of different coaches. How important is it to have a coach to bring the team together?
Yeah, it's important to bring the team together and guide us, but it's also up to us to build together as a unit and play together as a team and a family rather than individuals. So they can only do so much. The rest is all up to us.
And that's a really good point, because Hut, which we know around, anyone who plays against Hut in the softball community knows that you have really good camaraderie on your team, and there's something special there. So, you played with this team for quite a long time. Is there anything you can tell? What is the secret to having that team camaraderie?
It's just play with your mates. When you come together in the Hut Valley, it doesn't matter what club you play for. When you put the t-shirt on, we have one team. Club doesn't matter. So we all got each other's backs. So that's the main point.
Absolutely. What have been the keys to the team on day 2 of NFC 2021? What are the takeaways?
To just have fun.
Yeah.
Get out there, be ourselves, show who you are as a person and as a player, and just fun, laugh, enjoy it, take the moment as it comes.
Big error there from Wellington, leaving first base wide open. And Canterbury with runners on second and first.
Yeah, you just would have seen a little bit of that showing for bunt, pulling back and slapping, putting it into play. So the first baseman, they're not really knowing where to play. And Uppy Stone, not typically a first baseman, so probably catching her off guard a little bit. So yeah, leaving the base open. Well done, Canterbury, on that play.
Actually, we were talking about family before. We were talking to Kyla Bromhead. She's got a couple of rallies around the traps. Of course, you played your niece before. How was that?
I did. It's good. Like when we're on the diamond, we're not family.
I love it.
But when we're off the diamond, proud as punch. She's playing really well, so I
Oh,
can tell
playing still, Casey Downs.
Yeah, she's playing really well, so you know, ups to her. But when we're on the diamond, it's not auntie and niece. It's
I love it.
You're my position, so.
Yeah. Well, we've showcased all the amazing wahine that we've had today on Diamond 1. The main event, though, is going to be Hutt Valley Auckland at 7. What do you think you're going to see at Auckland on D1 at 7 o'clock? Or probably later, to be honest.
I don't know, that's anyone's game. Like this whole tournament, so far, all the teams are on a level playing field, so no team can take each other lightly. So, you know, all we're going to do is just go out there, be ourselves, and just, smash it, hopefully.
Fantastic. And I guess that goes the same, but what's it going to take to see Hutt Valley in that final on Sunday?
Unity,
Yep.
team unity. As long as we stick together and have each other's backs, then nothing will break us.
Yeah, outstanding. Well, thank you for joining us here in the booth today.
Thank
All
you
the
guys.
best. Big smiles. I love it. All
it
the
wasn't
best.
so
All the
bad.
best for the main event tonight. See you, mate. Ashley Johnston, ladies and gentlemen, the second base for Hutt Valley. Loving all the family connections that around the place, around the players.
Yeah, absolutely. And these girls, again, having that experience playing around. You know, I've played with Kyla, I've played with Ash, I've played a lot of with a lot of these girls, and you know, even when you're not family, you still feel like family.
Absolutely.
We missed a lot of action. I tell you what, every time we talk, there's lots of action going on.
I know. I did see that we actually attempted to do our job there as well. Like, you know, keep the
little
play
bit.
going for one moment.
Even though everyone
Ooh.
at home's probably watching, you're the ones who aren't watching.
Yeah. Luckily, there's no comments on YouTube like Facebook. Yeah, running
Oh,
feed.
are there?
Well, there's thumbs up and thumbs down, though, isn't there? Anyway, no outs here. We know that much because that's what the scoreboard tells us. It's a 2-2 count. Runner on 1 and 2. And we have Stella Jorgensen on in the batting box. The right fielder. Leon Potter throws it down. And that will go foul.
What I really, really like about NFC is that the lineups go deeper. So, you know, when you play club ball, sometimes you get to the bottom side of the lineup and you know the batters aren't as strong. But at NFC, you have strong batters. So with runners on 1 and 2, you still have to be careful with Stella up to bat because although she is in, you know, the 8 hole, as we would say, she's still more than capable of hitting in these runs.
Oh, gets her steering for the strikeout called. And Jen, is there anything better throwing it down and watching a batter just stare at it go by?
You know you fooled them, and that's a really good feeling, having that deception and knowing that you can pull that out when you need to. And sometimes it's mind games of the batters. And hey, you know what? If you beat yourself, that's great because it makes my job easier. And it's so easy. And a lot of times in the game of softball, you beat yourself more than the other opponent does.
Carly Wittahickle gets a piece, sending it into centre field, and that will score the runner of Narissa McDowell. So, with runner on 1 and 2, with 1 out, we will go back to the top of the shop with Alyssa Laurie.
And that's what you expect from your experienced players. You're expecting to step up. Your runners are in scoring position. You just had a strikeout. Now it's I've got to do something. I've got to step up. And with these teams, everyone should want to step up. But that shows you when push comes to shove, she did it for her team. Just chipping away, adding another run to their scoreboard.
So important. We're well over halfway into this one. Canterbury leading this one now 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th. What's Wellington going to need to do to claw this one back, Jennifer?
Oh, I think they're going to have to be a little bit more patient. Oh, we have a dead ball. Runner, I'm going to assume runner leaving early, which would be a very interesting call with a runner on second base. Can't say that's one you see often.
I know. Not usually.
So typically when they call the runner leaving the base early, so the ball has to leave the hand of the pitcher, which is a little bit different from our fastball 45, which they can leave a bit earlier. But here, with standard rules, when the ball leaves the hand, they can go. So the umpire calling the runner out for leaving before that.
What do you think of the Fastball 45?
I think it's really cool. I mean, I was able to play SummerSlam over in Aussie.
Of course.
And so the Fastball 45 was an adaptation of that. But it's really quick. I'm absolutely gutted that I have not had an opportunity to play it.
Where's those cleats, Jennifer? Where's those cleats?
I know. It looks like a whole lot of fun, bringing the fences in, changing up the rules a little bit. 45-minute game, so you need to get in and do business right away, which I think is really good. And I think it promotes a lot of important things in our game, adding to the squeeze plays, but it also means we need to defend them better, hitting the ball solidly, and then just getting to it right away. And so I think it's going to make our game better, not only promote our game, but add to it as well.
Hope Weber in the hot corner scoops it up and gets it over to Stone on 1 for out number 3, and that will retire the side. We'll go to the top of the 5th with Canterbury leading this one 3-0.
He might not look like much in an apron, but that's John Miller, loving husband, relatively reliable plumber, and holder of the Bledisloe Cup and 2 Investec Super Rugby titles. Don't let the heels fool you. Wendy crushed 2 of the biggest names in men's tennis to go all the way at Wimbledon. Tony, one of New Zealand's most impressive multi-sport players. Try playing and taking out a Rugby League Grand Final, a Grand Slam, and the New Zealand Cup all at once. Mary Adams came from nothing to take Cleveland to the playoffs. Where to next? Well, she won the New Zealand Derby with Ginger Nuts. Finally, meet Richard Sykes, a man with many loves, 80s hip-hop, his dog Bark Twain, and winning, specifically, the Cup final at Wembley. Now it's your turn. TAB, now you're in the game.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Top of the 5th innings here. Game 31 of the 2021 National Fastpitch Championship. It is this matchup between Canterbury and Wellington. Canterbury leading this one 3-0. Wellington haven't got any runs on the board yet, and they're going to have to change that pretty quickly, Jen.
Yeah, I mean, watching Amy here, a lot of ups, a lot of ins. Emma making a good adjustment there.
And Francis with a lead-off single.
Again, getting herself on base, but Wellington needing to make those adjustments. So we've seen a little bit of chasing some rise balls, popping up some rise balls. So either laying off of it and looking for her to throw something low, or making that adjustment and getting on top of that rise ball. So you can see that spin coming in. You can see the rotation of the ball, and so once you see that, you actually need to recognize it as soon as possible, so you can aim to hit the top of the ball to keep it on the ground or in play.
We also see the sun setting over Rosedale. Bit of shady area, but a lot of those players have that sun in their eyes. How are Wellington going to be able to use that against them?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it depends
the
on
ball
where
in
the
the
ball's
spots,
hit.
yeah.
I mean, I was just thinking earlier in the game, because we had that hit early in the game up to right field with Kokolatu playing right field for Wellington, taking a really fantastic catch. Not only was it hard, but she had the sun in her eyes, so I thought she did fabulous earlier. So again, at this level, it's knowing how to find the ball in the sun, which is really hard to do. Yeah. Easier said than done.
Absolutely.
Especially when it matches up the round thing with the round thing really well, and then you blink and you can't see anything. It's not easy. Especially
when they made it highlighted yellow as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can use your visor, you use your glove or your other hand holding that up, just
the old classic,
as long as possible.
Foul ball from the men's means this one stops for a second. They don't have the epic backup net like this on Diamond 1. Looks like Hutt Valley Men's is finished for the day.
Yeah, just hanging out behind the Wellington dugout over there.
A few empty bottles in front of Stacey Taylor already. Ooh.
Big hit here.
Gabriella Stone hits the fence on the full. They'll send her. They'll send Emma Francis.
Stone with a big hit out to centre field.
And that's a
Almost
big
over the
hit by
fence,
Uppy
but,
Stone.
safely
Looks like
two,
it's right out to the
double.
fence, and really hard reading. You know, we talked about the sun, but I think, in fairness, that was a really good hard hit.
Yep.
I think it would have been hard to track down, but she was quite close getting to that ball in center field. So, you know, that's we talk about game-changing moments. You know, that for getting Wellington up on the board, really trying to. Sometimes it's just breaking that goose egg open. Is where it starts. So really putting our team in a good position to get that ball rolling.
Well said, Jen. Well said. Because Uppy Stone, she may have changed the game there. We talked about Wellington. They needed to make something happen right now at the top of the fifth, and that's how you want to start. There's none out. You got a runner in scoring position. Big foul ball there.
There's that up and in again. So knowing that pitch probably is something that you're not going to hit well, you're not going to do a lot with, unless that is you know that's your pitch and you can do some damage with it.
Yep.
Most of the time, it's better to leave it and wait for something that's more on the plate, because it's going to have spin. You know it's going to go up off the bat.
Well, rumor has it an auto went over two fences in the other field. Everyone stopped to look over there. We'll get some more information. But it's all happening here on Diamond 1, the penultimate game on Diamond 1 here today.
Is that the word of the day? I feel like we need a bell. We're quite excited about that.
No, I just like you using it in the right context, that's all. That's all. So no, the big game here at 7:30 will be Auckland Hutt Valley.
Siataga there showing her skills, able to field that ball on the run, knowing she had to get it off quickly, throwing off one leg over to one, getting me out. But still, we have a runner now over at third with one out.
Almost the whole innings. Just the one out there, Jen. We've got a runner on three. Runner on three. That was Casey Downs. Now Marini Landon Lane, the young'un, playing in the designated player spot. Got a massive in the park home run in the last game against Southern Pride. Or was it Hutt Valley? I think it was Hutt Valley actually. Monster hit in between left and centre and just ran all the bases easy. We're seeing that. Oh,
are they going to challenge that? Yep.
And she's out. Was that because she came off the line?
Yep, she was well off the line. So as a player, and it was a good effort because Uppy knew that she was probably dead cold over at third base. There wasn't any way she was going to get back. So what she tried to do was put her body between the throw coming over to third and the ball. So she got herself in the way, but unfortunately a little bit too far off the base. So clever, but didn't pan out for her that time.
Yep.
But that's that spin we were talking about, that rise ball. It's so hard to bunt, so hard to put bat on ball. It just climbs right up that bat, and that's what happened. And it could have potentially popped over the first baseman's head, Lucy McIntyre's head, but it wasn't. Lucy was able to stay on it and make that play, putting herself in a good position, setting her feet, and making that throw over to three.
So we've seen a few of those, Jen, where it has popped up into the infield. And it's been caught, and they've caught the runners running. I mean, they're being caught pretty easily. 101, you tag up if the ball goes up, don't you?
Yeah, so exactly. So in softball, for those that might be watching for the first time, you are not allowed to advance if a ball is caught. So you need to stay on your base, and after you catch the ball, or the ball is caught, then you can advance to the next base. So perhaps it's aggressive softball. I really like aggressive softball.
I just want to run.
I really do like aggression, and sometimes when you put that pressure on, but I actually think in that case there was something a little bit extra going on. Trying to put down a squeeze with 2 outs, which is a bit which is aggressive, trying to make something happen. And when your team's behind, well, sometimes you have to find other ways to score runs. And when you have someone like Uppy, who's very quick on third base, try to figure out a way to get him on and get that run in. Now we have more questions here.
Yep. Uppy, I hope she hasn't rubbed it yet. That was right in the spine. She's a tough one, though. Well, Hutt Valley ladies are making their way over, ready to take on Auckland in the main event here at 7. I'd ask you who you got, but I'd probably guess.
Oh, hey, look. You know, I do size up teams, you know, player for player, and hey, it depends on the day. We've seen Auckland, not that I know from experience, but Auckland go out and beat Hutt Valley 4 times, and then Hutt Valley wins in a final because that's the team Hutt Valley is. So on the day, it depends on who turns up and who's ready to play, and you know, things happen. My PC version, you know, but you know, you gotta play every pitch.
Absolutely.
So it's gonna be a good game.
Absolutely. Well, now batting is the second base, Kaya Ratu. She grounded out first at bat, popped up at second. They'll be looking for an insurance run to add after Wellington clawed 1 back at the top of the 5th. Canterbury still leading this one 3-1.
And Potter doing well to really keep the ball low, keep minimal damage, not too many big hits. So they're just Canterbury, yes, chipping away, yes, on the board, but Potter doing an excellent job on the mound.
Using the Arsenal, and of course, Emma Francis calling. Were you ever a pitcher that wanted to throw your own pitches? Or you just called?
As in call my own pitches? I'm a bit naughty.
Shaking off the catcher, left, right, and centre. No, I don't want that one. Popped up to the centre field. Danielle Tanoa.
I've been known to shake off the catcher. In some instances, I've been known to call the game from the mound, which you know, look, ideally the catcher calls the game, but when
rumor has it,
I'm a bit like that. But in fairness, when you have young catchers or you're working with someone for the first time and you want them to get the feel for the game, I like to call the game so they get an idea of what I like to throw and when I like to throw it, and that's how they learn as well.
Absolutely.
And then at some point you say, your turn, and I'll shake you off if I don't like it.
No, that's not what I would have called.
But then, once you go international and time limit is enforced, there's 20 seconds, which is not a quick turnaround.
No.
From receiving the ball from the catcher and throwing your next pitch. And I was always really close to going over that time.
So we talked about softballers being a bit superstitious and having their own little things. Did you have certain things that you had to do on the mound that made that 20 seconds that much faster?
Not so much as I got older. I started to break habits and relax a bit as I started to have a bit more fun with the game. But definitely when I was in my prime, in my 20s, I had a lot of superstitious things. And a lot of it actually was my preparation for the game, just how I got dressed. Left sock on, right sock on.
Oh, really? One of those ones?
Very, very particular about how I got dressed and the order in which I did things and you know, what unders I was wearing that day, all sorts. I know players, I feel like I've called her out before, I'm not going to say her name, but I know players that haven't washed their socks for almost an entire season, maybe an entire season, which is very impressive. But it's also, hey, superstition, that's how strong it is if you're really superstitious. A classic one, though, is the lines. You'll have the first and third base lines. When you run onto the field, don't step on the line. It's a bit different when you're running around the bases and sliding, but if you're having a team meeting and you're huddled around the base, don't step on the line. That's a classic superstition.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I haven't washed my sweatband this season. This whole season. And yes, actually that is yeah, I do, and I sweat a lot during the games. No, that is superstition. I said I'd wash it when we lose a season.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Don't have to finish that sentence, I'm sure.
But I mean, and a lot of it's even routine. You know, as a pitcher, when I used to walk back on the mound, I used to tap my right toe on the top of the mound.
Oh, yeah.
I used to brush off the mound. I used to brush the dirt off the mound on the top of my right toe, and then I always turned to the left. If I turned over the right, I just didn't feel right the next pitch, and I was like, okay, now turn it over the left shoulder. And so, yeah, sometimes it is those little things, but again, it's creating those habits.
Yep.
So the body knows this is what I'm doing. I'm lining up. I'm getting prepared to do X, Y, Z.
Okay, look, Wedehickle sending it down to Casey Downs at shortstop, who makes the play to first for the second out.
Lucy McIntyre.
Lucy McIntyre up to bat now. She's been good with the bat today.
Yeah, again, a strong hitter, gone away the last few tournaments with the White Sox and really starting to stake her claim in that position. And, you know, this is a really good time to stand out for those coaches. So I know the White Sox coaches will be around this weekend.
They surely are.
So, and this is the prime time for anyone really wanting to step up and show their stuff, because you're playing the best of the best of each region. So this is really where you want to stand out. Absolutely.
You know, I saw Roman earlier in centre field, and I'm pretty sure I saw Oops as well. Oh, sorry. Tupuavai now. She'll always be Oops to me, mate.
Yeah, that's often you'll see some of the coaches hanging out in center field or just behind the plate. There seems to be a preference. They're either in center field or behind home plate, and that's where you really get a good full view of the game.
Yeah, he was definitely back there before. Oh, it's
nice.
A big one. That's just out of reach of centre field. Danielle Tanoa did everything to get to that ball in time, made up a few yards, and it actually did hit the glove, but just popped out of it.
Yeah, and on first glance, obviously, just watching it quickly, it looked like when she reached her arm out, she may have reached and stiffened the arm a bit too much, and she might have locked out, and not having those soft hands is what causes, you know, it makes it harder to close that glove and squeeze that in. It was really well done tracking with the sun, following that ball, and getting there. Unfortunately, not paying off for her, but Lucy finding herself on second base with Cassie Ciataga up to bat.
Yeah, Canterbury 2 down, runner in scoring position, looking to add another one to their total. Still leading this one 3-1. Had that 2-run buffer since the first. And at the bottom of the fifth, they'll be looking for more. Casey Downs gets in front of it, bounces off her, and it's gunned over to Stone, but Ciataga safe on one. And look at that.
Bit of cramp, helping each other out.
It happens.
There you go, sportsmanship right there. But really heads up play by the second baseman there, able to get that ricochet, that Maddie Lovett, yeah, and to make that play, and really good throw, moving in the opposite direction to stop herself, turn herself, and make a good solid throw over to one. It was a really good effort, and nearly getting Cassie. I think Cassie was trotting a bit over when she got to one.
Well, she didn't overrun one, and she stopped pretty quickly.
Give her a hard time about it. Because, again, Cassie being around for a long time, playing really high-level softball, good player herself. So, yeah, I'll call her out on it.
Keep them honest, mate. Keep them honest. Oh, send them the link. Well,
they can go back and watch the game as a player, and that's what's the beauty of having this live stream, is actually being able to go back and watch yourself and watch the game, because that's how you learn, and being able to put it out there. That's how you know, the Tamariki, the children, are going to learn it and pick up the game, is being able to watch it. Oh, shush up.
Love it. Love it.
My teacher, Tamariki voice.
I love it.
But it's about giving them the opportunity to watch the game, and I don't watch it back because I don't want to hear my voice. But as a player, absolutely, I'd go back and I'd watch.
6 years in broadcasting, Jennifer, and I still can't listen to my voice. Oh, Wellington makes sure of that one with Casey Downs scooping it up and popping it up to Maddie Lovett to retire the side. We're going to take a quick break. We will be back at the bottom of the fifth with Canterbury leading this one 3-1.
Your team lose again, bro? I've never seen a ball bounce like that before.
The weekend's for calls. Make yours at tab.co.nz.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ELE Sports Stadium here at Rosedale Park, Albany, Auckland, for the 2021 Golden Homes National Fastpitch Championship. I'm Damien Collins here with the colour, and joined in the booth, Jennifer Ferret-Brewer. You're doing the colour, I'm doing the play-by-play. It's been a long day, mate. It's been a long day. It's only day 2. Just pacing myself. Because we've got a whole heap of softball to get through over the next 2 days. This is game 31 of 55 being played in total over the weekend. Jen, a question I wanted to ask you before, I mean, we know our sport, how important it is to throw a ball, and a lot of people take it for granted, you know, that a lot of people can't actually throw anything, and we've made a lifetime of it. But tell us how hard it is, like Maddie did, to throw off balance running backwards, to whip around and a precision throw to first base.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a lot of different things moving in lots of different directions.
Exactly.
Having to stop yourself and have change your momentum and being able to get that throw off hard. A lot of people do struggle to throw, and as a teacher and a PE teacher, teaching throwing is really challenging, even for a softballer. Doing it my whole life, teaching throwing is hard, and it's really getting that whip of the arm, and what happens a lot of the time, people end up pushing the ball, but it's that whip and cracking that whip and being able to move your arm really quick. But then now you're adding in, having to react to a ball, change your movement, set your hips, set your shoulders, and a lot of these athletes we see on the field, they are just that. They're athletes. They're able to do this naturally.
Effortlessly, yeah.
It's really impressive, but it is through a lot of trial and error practice, and it just shows that Maddie has been around the game, and to be able to react and still know there was a play at one, that's on top of everything else.
Yeah, of course.
So she was able to almost flawlessly make that turn and that play right away, and that's all about knowing the game.
Absolutely. We got a change.
We have Beg here staying up and in, really working nice and tight.
Oh. There was our lead-off, Beyonce Ruhutai, and speak of the devil, Maddie Love It Up, the second baseman.
The hair got
woman,
on that one.
person.
Yeah, woman, yeah, it gets tricky, doesn't it?
Second base? Just second base.
Second base
She plays
person?
second base.
That's a good point.
So we're in a PG world, mate. Well, PC, isn't it? PC, sorry. Maddie pops it up again, almost. Taking that lead.
And that was nearly really well executed. The idea was there. You saw showing bunt, the corners crashing in, and she nearly popped it over third baseman's head, a little bit further towards shortstop. Cassie Siataga recognizing ball in the air, and again, that's what happens with a rise ball pitcher. So it's really, really important to stay on top of the ball, and that is what works to Amy's benefit and Canterbury's benefit, is having that spin on the ball, and Wellington not really adjusting.
No, they've got 5 hits on the board, but just the 1 run. Now we are in the top of the 6. As the battery coach there, Jen, how have our pitches been today?
Yeah, actually, they've done really well mixing it up, but I think Amy here really recognizing what's working for her and not trying to do too much, because that often happens as pitchers. We get to NFC and we're like, oh, I need to be next level. I need to do more. I need to pitch more pitches. And no, what works for her is her screwball and her rise ball and her changeup. We said we need 3 pitches. Really well done, Michaela Warehiko tracking that ball, foul ball off to the fence, catching it on the fence.
And then running into the fence.
Exactly. And hey, that's what it's all about, getting that out for your pitcher.
I'm glad you made a good point there, and I need to ask, how do you, this level, you get to this level, you're a good pitcher, but you've got really good fielders around you, really good batters. How do you not take it on yourself to do too much?
Yeah, that happens, and I think that's that growth and part of the game. And look, you really have to have faith in the team behind you, and And knowing that you're doing your job, and your job is not as a pitcher to strike everyone out. It's not. Your job is to make that batter hit the ball in a way that your fielders can field and make the play. So whether it's a ground ball, fly ball, and that's exactly what the pitchers have been doing today. And the more your team finds success, and oh man, Cassie at shortstop, solid. You got Michaela over at third, solid. I know I'm sweet, and I can throw that ball on an inside corner, and they're going to get the play. And the better the team does, and the more solid your team plays, the more confidence you have as a pitcher, because you're like, sweet, I know I can throw this pitch with confidence, and my teammate's going to have my back. So it really raises the level altogether, and it really is a whole team effort.
Fantastic. Hope Weber in now. She's been great in the hot corner today, and she'll be wanting to change the fortunes of Wellington. Still 2 runs behind this Canterbury side. And that
could be the one. Fair ball.
Definitely fair ball. Tony Karuna in the right place at third base to make that call. And Hope Weber, she'll run into 2, stand up pretty, and that will drive in the run. And just like that, we say they want to change their fortunes. Well, clawing back another run will do that, Jen.
I feel like Hope always beats me. Just before I go to say something like this is the perfect person to have up to bat, she does it before I can even say it. But that's what it's all about. It's about action.
That's the one.
Less hooey, more dewy.
That's the one.
And just an update on the other diamonds. The men's diamond over diamond 10.
Wow.
Between the Wellington men and
we have a pitching change.
Top of the 6th. Canterbury still leading by 5 runs to 4.
So it looks like Cassie Siotaga here will be coming in to pitch. Now, those that know, Cassie is a stellar shortstop, one of the best in the game. But what people might not know is that she's actually a pretty darn good pitcher too.
All these people with all these talents. What the?
She's got some good spin on the ball, and she'll chuck it in there. And yeah, I reckon she's quite good. I don't know, Roman, Donnie, Mel, maybe you need to have a look.
Take it
all around her.
Take it, pay attention. Well, Amy Bigg, luckily I just asked how she went for the day. But yeah, Amy Bigg comes out. Cassie Siotaga in.
So wondering here, Coach Carl, is this part of his game plan? So some coaches go out and say, cool, if they score X amount of runs, they're coming out. If they go two times through the lineup, they're coming out. We're making a pitching change. Or in this case, is it a momentum shift? Is it, hey, look, Amy's starting to get hit. We're actually going to make that change early. And Amy can come back in. So maybe go have a rest, regroup. And this is just that momentum shift. So we talk about it all the time in the game. The momentum's either for you or against you. Or you're putting on the pressure or you're feeling the pressure. And right now, Wellington's coming back. So this could be Coach Carl's way of actually settling down the game and trying to get momentum back in the hands of Canterbury.
That's the one. Well, it's taken a game to get a few hits off them, or a couple runs, only in the last 2. But she did a hell of a set there, Amy Bigg. But now Cassie Siotaga on the mound, which means we'll have someone at shortstop. We'll figure out what number that's wearing. Won't be on that side. Danny Altanoa in at bat now.
And this is what I love about softball. It's not over till it's over.
Exactly.
So coming back late, the game could change just with a few swings of the bat.
Oh, absolutely. And most teams at this level have a team of game changers, if not 1 or 2 at least, with that X factor.
And this will be really different. So 2 very different pitchers. You'll see Cassie throwing a lot of curveballs, so that ball breaking away from a right-handed batter, which they would have seen a lot of up and ins from Amy, and now it's going out. So Wellington needing to make that shift and needing to realize that right away. So if you're on deck, speaking of which, coming inside, but if you are on deck, if you're Emma Francis right now, you need to be carefully watching, saying, okay, this is what Cassie's done to this batter. So when it's my turn up to bat, I know it's coming. I've seen what she's done to the previous batter. Or even in the dugout, you don't have to be on deck. The next batter up, we say, is in the hole. That batter, or anyone else sitting there. The more you watch and you get a pitcher and catcher routine, the better you're placing yourself for when it's your turn up to bat.
And this late in the game, you need to make it count when you get up there, don't you?
Exactly. You're limited. You know, you have, 3-4 more outs to the game. So you need to make the most of your at-bats.
Absolutely. Outside.
And again, just outside for ball.
Brings me back to another question I was going to ask you earlier about the fastball 45, and you talked about some of the things, but what are some of those comparisons that we could pull in from that short game that you can put into the long form just as easy, that work? You know, I mean, you're going to, you know, there's a lot of squeeze plays, for instance. A lot of people got good at them, but you don't see a lot of them during the big game, especially these days. But what are some of those aspects that can be applied into the big game?
Yeah, I mean, I do think the squeeze play is really key because it's just putting down a bunt, to be general, but it's putting the bat on the ball, being able to bunt in pressure situations, because it's such a key part of the game, and it's something we need to be better in New Zealand in the women's game. We don't do a lot of it because we have so many power hitters. But when we go to the international stage, we actually need to be better at bunting.
Yep.
And so I love how it reinforces that from a batting side, but also a fielding side, because a lot of international teams, especially when you have the quicker teams that do a lot of bunting, like your Chinese Taipei, like your China and your Japan, they lay down a lot of bunts. So you need to be able to react and make those plays. So it really puts you in a good position. It really reinforces being good on both sides of that. Another thing I like, turning double plays. Key. Big game changers there. Oh, mixing it up, going up. So in that case, the catcher asks the home plate umpire, did that batter swing? Did that bat break the plane of the plate? And referring to the first base umpire, Thelma Howard, and he said no, did not go around. But really, really well done to Cassie, just mixing up that up pitch, catching Emma off guard. Didn't work that time, but again, big situation. So you have 2 outs, and you have your tying run over on second base. Emma can easily hit a ball into the outfield if she gets a good piece. This is a big situation for Canterbury. A lot of pressure. The pressure now is on Canterbury.
Absolutely. They've lit the runners on, and now they've got to stop them from getting home. And as you mentioned, we have a really good shortstop on the mound that can also pitch.
It's one of those things, like, well, she can pitch, but do you want her at shortstop because she's so solid at shortstop? And you know, what's more important, having your shortstop or having her on the mound?
Well, as I mentioned to you before we went to air, watching some highlights of NFC at you at shortstop. Drilled too. We've got to find out who's at short now. But the new shortstop, turn around, give us your number. Makes the play. Old Hawkeye Jennifer has got her, is that a 2?
Must be a 12.
A 12.
Layla McDowell.
Layla McDowell making the catch at short, which will retire this side. Mate, we are in for a humdinger coming into the last. We're going to the bottom of the 6th. Canterbury leading this one over Wellington.
At Pack and Save, we're always looking for ways to cut costs and save you money. So we're taking all the yellow out of this ad. Hit it, guys! Yeah, that might be a bit much. Can we put a little... That's better. Pack and Save, our policy, New Zealand's lowest food...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game 31 of the 2021 National Fastpitch Championship. We're at the bottom of the 6th here. Wellington taking on Canterbury. Canterbury leading this one 3-2. Wellington getting their 2 runs in the last couple innings. Canterbury got 2 in the first and 1 in the 4th. But it's going to come down to the wire on this one, Jen.
Definitely, and like we said, this is why softball is so exciting, is because it can change throughout the game. There's lots of ups and downs, or you might think you're strong the whole game, and all of a sudden, a few plays in, game changes. So this is what it's all about. This is what makes softball exciting, and we're seeing lots of changes. So Cassie coming onto the mound last inning, we see a pitching change in this inning.
Yes, we do. Talia Salas Giorgio coming onto the mound for Wellington. We saw her earlier coming on and taking on Hutt Valley. She's had a bit of a break in this one. Is she coming in for the save? Goes through the zone for the strike called.
So feel the temperature dropping just
Yeah,
a little bit. That
just
sun
gonna
going
mention
down.
that. It's definitely changed up here. Hope Weber, she's been outstanding on the hot corner today, scooping it up and going it over for the out.
And
Up to bat now is number 12 coming into the game, Layla McDowell.
Yep, so looking at that, we're going to go off of shortstop last
We're gonna
inning.
yeah,
would have been Ratu. Would have missed that in all of the other excitement.
Yes.
So Ratu with that catch at shortstop, and Layla McDowell now up to bat.
We got there in the end, Jen. Canterbury, they're going to want an insurance run here, Jen. What do they need to do to keep Wellington on their toes here?
Absolutely, you need that aggression. So this pitcher, I don't know how much they've scouted this pitcher and how much they know, but they have to be aggressive swinging.
Hope Weber, what a glove.
All right, are we going? Okay. So
What?
Uppy Stone getting the ball at 1, and we saw a little bit of a bobble and the ball pop out at the end. So waiting to see if umpire Tama Howard over at 1 was going to call safe or out, but you need to have clear possession of the ball. If there's any sort of bobble, that runner is safe. So sometimes people argue that it's on the transition, that throwing hand pulling the ball out of the glove, but in this case, unfortunately for Wellington, it was just a straight safe base.
Definitely unfortunately, because Hope Weber getting to that ball where probably should have been Casey Downs, but Hope Weber putting out the mitt and bringing it in. Unfortunately, just not getting the out. So Canterbury will have 1 runner on 1. That's 1 out at the bottom of the 6th. They'll definitely want an insurance run here.
We
or
talk
2.
about those game-changing moments. Could this be that moment? And not that they would go down, but who knows what the next 6 outs hold, or 5 outs.
Absolutely. Well, it could just be the motivation that they need, just getting that runner on, you know. It just flicks the switch in you. Down in the dirt. 4-1. A speed of 38 Ks.
Not too sure about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, changeups are normally sitting around that 50, 60, so I'm going to go ahead and say we're
It's
good
a
off
broke.
on that read.
Computer says no.
So you'll
Big jump.
see this pitcher here, Talia, has a really unique style of
Yep.
pitching. The way she comes around, and she's more of a rotational pitcher, and she's using her hips a lot, coming around the ball, and so this might throw the Canterbury players off a bit because it's not something that we typically see. It's not your, what we would say, like a cookie cutter style. We know that there's some things that work better when pitching, but that's necessarily not the case for everyone.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll see if it puts off the Canterbury batters, but so far we have runner at 1, 1 out. And Carly's
Yeah, we
doing
do.
some damage earlier this game, so batter to look out for.
Yeah, no, she's definitely been moving the ball. Big one in the first or second to right field. Was caught, tagged up. Sun gone down here at Rosedale. Apart from some spots, definitely still in the face of right field and second base. And it gets brighter as I say it.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
The
usually.
unwritten rules of.
Oh, yeah. Well, you would have noticed now that you're a commentator, the things that you say and then it happens or it goes against you or whatever.
Yep.
It's real. Gets her swinging.
Nice pitch.
And that will load the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
So that says 61K, which is probably possibly a bit more accurate. Could have been change up. So my problem is I mix up miles per hour and Ks. So I'm like 61. Oh yeah, that's pretty
True.
good. Oh wait, it's not miles per hour. It's Ks. So I do every now and again cross back over mentally into miles per hour versus Ks.
Fahrenheit or Celsius?
Ooh, I'm on Celsius now. Actually.
Now.
Nice bunt. Oh.
Rita Heckle did put down a nice bunt, and she moved the runner, which is the intention, but she's also safe on 1. And that will bring back the top of the order.
And that's really heads up to be able to place that bunt down, because, you know, watching Weber over at third, she was creeping in, and then the second she went back to field her position, standard position, that's when Carly dropped the bunt. So now I'm wondering if coach is coming out to query the bunt or to make a change. Must be querying, because we're bringing in all 4 umpires, which is awesome to have 4 umpires on the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you get four voices, 4 heads together. You think surely they'll come out with the right outcome.
If only we still had the umpire mic'd up. Not this one. That would have been lovely.
But at this point, if you're Wellington, you have to ask the question. You have to try anything right now to put your team in the best situation. So, you know, hats off. You got to try what you can as a coach.
Absolutely. Well, just the 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Canterbury still leading Wellington 3-2. Alyssa Laurie in the batter's box. The left fielder. Salas Giorgio coming to the mound after taking over from Miriama Potter.
And you'll see now the first and third basemen, Stone and Weber, creeping in, because they just don't know if they're going to be putting down the bunt, or are they going to slap, pull back and hit the ball, or are they hitting? And that's the beauty about batting. The more tools you can have in your toolkit, the more threatening you are as a batter. And especially lefties make it even harder, because they're another step closer to first base and they can do a bit more. But, you know, being a threat, so you'll see how far up that first baseman is. There's no one over on 1. So if I was a first base runner, I'd be getting myself a big old lead ready to run as soon as that ball's hit.
Absolutely, especially if there's no one around you. And yes, as you said, they're going up pretty early, closing up, tightening up that infield.
3-0 count, not ideal for Wellington in this situation.
No, definitely a hitter's count. Through the zone for strike called.
There's a question, 3-0 count. Do you swing?
Me? Yes, but I can't help myself, that's the problem. But yeah, I mean, like that, you see a lot of it, don't you? But it's usually plumb down the middle.
I think it depends on the player. I think if you back yourself and it's your pitch and you know you have control, even at this level, if you back yourself, I think go for it.
Why not?
Just my personal opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure we can have a really robust debate around that with some of the coaches.
Well, that walk will load the bases. Jen, with Fastpitch, how would you get on with 3 balls? See, my go-to, I love the pressure of a full house. I love it. You know, foul away and I'll throw that strike. But yeah, 3 balls, I'd be walking everyone.
Yeah, I mean, 3 balls, it's hard to come back from 3 balls. It's not impossible, but it means you have to work a lot harder. And that's why we say getting up early in the count, throw those strikes early. So as a batter, you need to be prepared for that as well. And there she is getting that first pitch strike, which is huge for her after a walk. That's what you need to do as a pitcher. You need to come back with that strike. So now power is in defensive hands.
Kaya Ratu now batting for Canterbury. Gets a piece, sends it to the centre field. Danielle Tanoa is back to catch it and guns it in to Emma Francis, but that will score the runner of Canterbury. So like that will add another run to their tally, taking them to 4-2. And Canterbury still have runners on the corners.
And that ties in nicely what we were talking about earlier, that runner having to wait up for that tag. That ball hit deep enough to center field for that tag. So if the ball's really shallow and that center fielder's running in and has that momentum to throw the ball home, maybe not so much as a runner you'd hold, but that's a nice, hard, deep hit, sacrifice hit. So well done to Ratu for being able to hit that ball deep to score her teammate. And that's all she had to do in that case. Did
the job. Now batting is Michaela Widahiku.
Again, a really dangerous batter. We said after yesterday batting 500, has already had some hits in this game. With a runner on, Canterbury is in a really good place to put pressure on here to really increase that gap, because late in the game, this is their last at bats. They have 2 outs. They have 1 more out to work with, so they need as many runs as they can to secure that lead.
Ball goes up. Everyone's running, and it's in a gap. Total misjudge from Maddie Lovett at second base. And it might have been that sun. Might have been that sun we've been talking about, Jen.
Might have been. We've been talking about it an awful lot.
See,
So
Wellingtonians didn't know what to do with it. What is that thing in the sky?
But what I really would have liked to see there is better base running.
Yeah.
Because 2 outs, as a runner, you're going. You're
Yep.
100%
Yep.
because but it's 2 outs. The third out is going to happen. Even if you think it's going to be a fly out, I reckon that run should have scored, and that would be another, run for Canterbury.
Absolutely. Well, they have 5 now. Canterbury do. After 2 quick ones here. Runners on the corners, 3 and 1. 2 out. Bottom of the 6th. Lucy McIntyre fouls away. Nobody in the beer garden looking to catch it.
It's been really nice to see the changes to the stadium over the years, and just resurfacing back in I think before the 2013 Men's World Championship. So they prior to it was lime, and then so they put some new dirt in. Seeing just the different things popping up. So we got the little beer garden over there, the stadium itself.
McIntyre sends it to right field, where Coco Latour is under it to make the play. Wow, that will retire Canterbury after scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th. We'll go to the top of the 7th. Canterbury leading this one 5 to Wellington's 2.
They say your home is where your heart is. I know my home is here with you. There's a world to behold. It's a better home you own with golden homes. Never take time to worry about life. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Know that you are right. There's a world to behold. Another day you will grow old. So take time with the ones you love. Take time with the ones you love.
At Pack and Save, we're always looking for ways to cut costs and save you money. So we're taking all the yellow out of this ad. Hit it, guys! Yeah, that might be a bit much. Can we put a little... That's better. Pack and Save, our policy, New Zealand's lowest food prices.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, for the top of the 7th innings here on Diamond 1. It is Wellington Women's taking on Canterbury Women's. Canterbury leading this one 5-2. Damien Collins here calling the play-by-play. Joined in the booth with the Battery, New Zealand Battery coach, Jennifer Ferret-Breer. I will get it right. Just roll off the tongue, just doubting myself. Stone will chop it down to third. Where
Kayla, where he go making the play over to first base. You switch your papers around. Get it together.
we have 3 team sheets in front of us. The same game. Like, just put the right front in front of me, Damien. Right.
Uppy Stone there grounding out. So earlier in the game, she had a really big hit, really looking to start her team off. But Canterbury answering back, saying, nope, we're 1 out closer to winning this game.
They are indeed. When you're 3 runs up, you just want to close it out here. You don't want to go and have another back and chase anything. Neo Francis leaving that one go through the zone. Oh no.
That'll be Casey Downs.
Casey Downs.
That's the one. Get it together, mate.
I know,
We've been hopeless. We've been a bit hopeless today. Hopefully we've been entertaining at the very least.
Oh God, I hope so. Again, there's no feedback, so send text messages to Softball New Zealand on Facebook. No, please don't actually. No, we enjoy it. It's a 3-1 count, 1 out. Casey Downs will make her way to first base. Ashley Johnston's niece.
Right.
Johnston with an S-T-O-N.
Which you might have missed because I guess the mic wasn't fully picking
We
her up
did.
there, so.
We did hear after the fact, didn't we, Jen? That
Yes.
that maybe the volume wasn't right there. Directional mics will do that to you.
Note for next time.
Exactly. Well, that will bring up number 3, Irene Landon Lane. Young lady has been stellar this tournament for Wellington. She's the Wellingtonian. Need a break.
I know we've talked about Wellington being aggressive, but at this point you actually have to be patient because the nerves are going and you have to pick the right pitch and make the most of it at this point. So you really need to be ready to go and pull the trigger, but on that right pitch for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we know that's what it's going to come down to, but is that the long and the short of it? What do Wellington have to do? They just have to get tough in there?
Yep, they need to be selective. They don't, the pressure is on them. They're going to be feeling it, but it's important not to jump the gun and swing at a bad pitch. They really need to be selective here and just start chipping away. It's not impossible. This isn't a massive lead. There we go. So, bit of a pass ball rolling around the backstop, which is catcher-pitcher's worst nightmare, not being able to chase that ball down. Luckily, the fielders doing their job and helping out. But, runner advances to 2. And, look, 3 runs in the scheme of things, that's nothing in this game. That's, we've had games where they've scored 4, 5, 6 runs.
Well,
in the gap.
Irene Landon Lane well in the gap in the right field. They don't.
See, chipping away, and this is exactly it. Just a couple times, a couple more of those. Look, you've got a runner on 3, you've got a runner on 1.
Well, there was a bit of hesitation with the running there from Casey Downs. The first one, she tagged up for and only just made it to second, and now to be on third. They're going to have to be more aggressive there and just throw everything at everything.
And it's hard because you're trained ball in the air, you go back and tag.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, that when you are at that next level and you're an elite player, you can recognize when a ball's in a gap.
Is that smarter,
It is.
And we've been talking about being aware of everything around as well. A little frustrating.
Sorry. Run. And that, there. So Carly behind the plate seeming to have a bit of trouble. So whether there's some sort of disconnect between Cassie and Carly right now in the battery and the ball's not coming in as expected, or maybe something's up with Carly and the ball seems to be coming hard off of her mitt. Maybe she's got something going on, but that run should score. You're chasing, and that ball didn't, it wasn't a maybe, it was
Yep.
Definitively, it was past Carly. You need to be running home and scoring your run. So at least our runner advances over to 2. So runners on 2 and 3. And Coach Carl here probably going to go settle his team down a bit and make sure everyone's on the same page. Take a deep breath. Hey, let's close this out. The game's not over, so don't become complacent.
Absolutely.
That can happen. As we've said, 3 runs is nothing. But hey, let's pull it together and stay strong for the last 2 outs.
Well, that's it. It is the last 2 outs. You've come this far. You've done. Both teams have done a hell of a job, but Canterbury are the ones that are leading this game 5-2, and all they need to do is just keep working it like they have been the whole game to get those 2 outs.
And at this point, yes, they still have their last at bat in their back pocket, but you don't want to go to that because then the pressure's on you, and then you have to come back. Yes, they have it, but you have an opportunity right now to end the game. You need to do it now.
Absolutely. Well, Beyonce Ruhutai still in bat. She's got a 2-0 count. 2 balls, no strikes. Runner on 3 and 2 for Wellington, down by 3 at the top of the 7th. She puts down the bunt. They will score the runner with the squeeze play. That's 2 runs, isn't it? No. Wrong sport. Wrong sport. My bad.
Wrong version.
Wrong version of the game. Yes.
But
okay.
if you would have watched that, you would have seen the runner Casey Downs holding up before she ran home. That's a squeeze play.
You're going.
As soon as that ball goes on the ground, like you're already running before the ball goes on the ground. Once you see it on the ground, you're 100% going in. And so that delay, she's quite lucky that they didn't try to make the play at home. And they took the out at 1 because and that's probably another thing Carl talked about is let's get the outs, get the play at 1 because now there's 2 outs.
Yep.
Those runs don't technically matter because right now your tying run is up to bat.
Yep.
So if we get her out, we're okay. And sometimes it's refocusing and putting those things into perspective.
Fouls it off down the first base line. And the count of 2 strikes. 2 outs. Here at the top of the 7th.
Madison Lovett. Sorry, I keep on saying Madison. It's like literally the first time I've seen it written as Madison. Maddie. Maddie Lovett is up. She probably prefers Madison. I've just never ever called her that. Or she gets a piece, sending it to short, and she'll score the runner.
And Lovett.
And she's safe at 1.
Not over till it's over. It's now
No, it is not.
Game.
Canterbury letting in another run.
And that was a really hard play to make. Let's be honest. That ball is bouncing on a terrain. Now, this field is known to have its pockets. You have your hard spots, you have your soft spots, and that ball is bouncing. And that is really hard to gauge that ball. So she did well by getting to it really quickly. And a low throw, because that's going to be your best bet to get it there quick, is keep it low. Good effort. Unfortunately, didn't work in their favor, but good on Wellington for coming back and making this a ball game.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely have one here, ladies and gentlemen. Top of the 7th on Diamond 1 of ELE Sports Stadium. Day 2 is all women's here. And you are watching it on Sky Sport Next on the YouTube channel. Wow, there you go. There you go.
Love it.
Coco Latour is safe on 1, moving Maddie Lovett down to second base. And that's going to bring up Hope Weber, who has been outstanding in the hot corner and not too bad with the bat as well today. They're walking her.
So much has happened in this last play, and I want to talk about it all, but it's happening so fast. So you would have seen even at second base with that base runner rounding second and drawing contact with the Canterbury fielder, and you would have seen the umpire stick out his arm, and that was obstruction, right?
Yep.
So had there been a play, she could have tried to actually get to the next base. But then you've got to be smart with Hope Weber up to bat, right? She is a game changer, and she's hitting. So really smart call there. Putting Weber on. So, well, how about this situation? We talked about game changing and game changers. Man, what an exciting time to be Danielle Tanoa.
Wow, Danielle Tanoa.
And she's going to want to make. She had that ball in center field earlier that she just dropped. She's going to want to make up for that. She's going to want to hit this run.
She's definitely got the motivation here now. And all she has to do is find a bit of a gap. Pops it over the infield or just in between somebody. And Maddie Lovett on third base. She, with all the gas, will go home through the zone for strike called.
And Cassie, not typically being a pitcher, you wonder, you know, she's really calm, cool, and collected over at short. Is she as a pitcher? It's a totally different ballgame as a pitcher.
Lovely nets here at Rosedale Park. We can see the diamond clearly, but it doesn't stop people moving when there's a foul ball, and it makes me laugh every time.
You know, my favorite thing to do is watch a volleyball game and watch everybody watch the ball bounce back and forth if you just watch the crowd. As a former volleyballer as well. Those observations. Anyways, back to softball.
This is a sport hour at ELE Sports Stadium.
2-2. Something's going to happen. 2-2 is a count where, you know, as a pitcher, you don't want to go to a full count.
No.
A batter, you're ready, you're gearing up.
Inside. Fouled away by Tenor.
What an exciting game. Really building.
I know, right?
You know, started out with a bang, kind of lulled a little bit, as you do. You know, and then both teams sort of coming back. Yeah.
That's the one. Well, if you're enjoying this one, folks, it's gone well over a couple hours. But we have an even, no, I wouldn't even say, we have another big one for you. And there is another big one coming up. Hutt Valley taking on Auckland. Was supposed to start at 7 p.m. But that might be an 8 o'clock. 8:30 maybe.
It's all right, we got lights.
We've got lights here. Do we what?
Tanoa doing really well battling here, fouling that one off. She's in there. She wants to get her team back in this game.
And what does this do to the pitcher, Jen? When you're in, it's an important count and the batter's just fouling away.
Oh, it's frustrating. You're like, come on, just miss it. Or miss hit it. Ooh, it's short.
It is short and it's under.
And another one.
That's one.
And the go ahead.
Wow. Danielle Tenor with the stand-up double just out of reach for Stella Jorgensen in right field, and then it went under Wellington.
My hands are still in the air. That, my friends, is called a clutch hit. That is a game changer, which we've been talking about all game. And hey, look, it doesn't have to be pretty. Was it the most solid hit? No. Was it a line drive? No. But it doesn't matter. It found the grass, it found the green, and scored 2 runs. Well done.
2 runs, which would mean that Wellington are now in the lead 6-5 after trailing this whole game.
With 1 out left to go.
With 1 out.
One out.
The old 2-down rally, eh?
Tell you what, we've had some pretty good. We keep saying, you know, it's not over till it's over. The sun, the this and that. We've been calling a few things today.
I tell you.
But that means Canterbury has another at bat. So this game is
They'll be
far
hating
from
it though.
over.
They'll be hating it.
Yep.
Because they had the game. Big swing and a miss from Emma Francis to catch it.
Count of no balls, 2 strikes, 2 out.
Stadium getting vocal here.
As Canterbury right now, you're really going to be thinking, like, crap, that was ours at that moment. That
Absolutely.
That game's ours, and you know it's not all over yet, but you can definitely see them sinking in, thinking, oh man, okay, uh-oh.
Inside and low. Oh yes. Never enjoyed a ball so much. Thank you for my massage there, Chopper. Didn't sound weird at all, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. You can see I was tense, but it's what a finish here. We have 4 runs in the last to Wellington.
And that's a big out. That's a really big out. Really keeping that score line small. It's only 1 run. Emma's a really good batter, and for Cassie to come and strike her out with a runner on 3, that's big. So really good. Well done answering back. Game's not over yet.
It's not over yet. We have just 1 more at bat, unless we go to overtime. But we'll see right after the break. Canterbury 5, Wellington 6. We'll see.
Within the ELE group, we have a range of companies and a very wide range of people. We have 3 core values: growing together. That means with our staff, our stakeholders, and of course with people like you, our customers. Building tomorrow today to build a better tomorrow for us and our customers. And thirdly, keeping it real. Doing things that are going to work for everybody and being mindful of the fact that we're not a corporate, we still have a family feel about our business.
They say your home is where your heart is. I know my home is here with you. There's a world to behold. It's a better home you own with golden homes.
And gentlemen, to ELE Sports Stadium here at Rosedale Park. It is Freeman Field. Diamond 1 here, featuring the ladies today. It is the second last game of the day between Wellington and Canterbury. We have seen a stellar game where Canterbury have led up until the last innings, and it should have been over. It should have been 3 up, 3 down. But what a comeback from Wellington, scoring 4 in the 7th to take the lead 6-5. Jen, what's it going to take for Canterbury to get themselves back in this and take the W?
Hey, Wellington was able to chip back and do 3 runs in 1 inning. There's no reason why Canterbury can't do the same. So again, it's going to take a bit of patience. So this is going to be the first time through with some of these batters against Talia. But Cassie here, as the pitcher for Canterbury, really wanting to get on and help herself out and come back from that last inning.
Well, she's a quality player, been around the traps at levels, and she'll want to take a bit of responsibility here to make sure that they are back in this ball game.
And look, hey, they're fighting for 1 because that's, you know, tie ball game, but to win it, they need 2. So, you know, we could be looking at extra innings, but first thing first, you got to get runner on base. 1 thing at a time. Hit the ball, bat on ball, get on base, move them around. Yep. Softball 101.
Absolutely.
And umpire for a ball. 2 balls.
Umpire will take the count to 2 balls, 1 strike. Of course, Cassie Siataga in the batter's box now. Started the game at shortstop. Came in to take over from Amy Begg. She watches that one. That's not to her liking. 3 balls, 1 strike the call.
3-1.
And you ask, what do you do with a 3-0? But what do you do with a 3-1?
Well, 3-1. If I'm the batter,
you're gone.
As a pitcher, it's hard because you need to throw a strike, but it needs to be one that they can't hit well. So it's better have some spin on it.
Well, Cassie Siataga gets a piece of that, sending it to the right field, and she's found a bit of green. There's definitely no man's land there.
She's
both.
Like, she said, "You hurt me twice last inning with that. Well, I'm gonna do the same thing to you. Now you know how it feels."
Absolutely, pretty much.
That gap back behind first, second base, getting some action in the last 2 innings.
Yep.
Number 8, Narissa McDowell.
Narissa McDowell now runner in scoring position to tie the game for Canterbury. None out. Last at bat. Bottom of the 7th.
What I love is that Cassie's on second base. She took full advantage. She ran. She didn't go, oh, I'm lucky I got on base. No, she went straight to 2. Now she's in scoring position.
Yeah,
So,
there was no way. There was no way she was stopping at 1. And that's what you got to do. If you know you're popping the ball up. I don't like these ones that jog it out to 1 because they think it's going to be caught.
Yep.
Gas it, man. If it's not caught and you're on 2, happy days. But the old pop up and jog.
And McDowell fouls that back. The count of no balls, 2 strikes.
Marissa McDowell. Do you want me to say her name again?
What's interesting in this game, actually, is I've noticed that I don't think they've had a single left-handed batter. I think everybody's been a righty today.
Ah, yeah. I usually notice the lefties, being a lefty myself. Oh, trying to hit that spot again.
It makes it that much harder for a pitcher when you're going left, right, and hey, look, top pitchers, it doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed because you're throwing to the plate, you're throwing to the catcher's glove. But it can mix it up and mix up the different pitches you throw. And some pitchers do have a mental block with, we'll say left-handed pitchers because you don't see them very often. But when you go international, the Chinas, the Taipeis, they're all lefty.
Yep. We haven't seen any strikeouts. We've seen like 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
one
in it
in
to win
the
it now.
third, I think.
Well, when it comes to a pressure situation in a game, you don't want to be that person going down looking or swinging and missing. So, yeah, up in the ante here.
Not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Now, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Centre fielder Narissa Riddell at bat. Gets a piece, sending it to Hope Weber, who holds the runner. Veteran play there. That is softball 101. Stare at the lead runner in the eye, make it go back, and then gun it to first. Outstanding play from Hope Weber.
And even going back a step, staying down, that's a ball in the 5-6 hole. So those are hard to get to for the third baseman, but you'll see she kept her feet under her. She stayed athletic, and she moved over the ball first, then the runner, then the throw, clean play. That's elite level.
Absolutely. Well, we talked last innings about Canterbury being 2 outs away from winning this game, and now the pendulum has shifted, and Wellington are 2 out from winning this game. But they've got to get some more outs, and of course Canterbury with the runner in scoring position on second.
Yep, and knowing Cassie out there on 2, she's going to have itchy feet. She's thinking, man, I need to get home any way I can right now. Taking big leads over at second base because she knows that if that ball's in the outfield at all on the ground, she's going home.
Designated player in the batting now is Elizabeth Rice. She'll be looking to open this up.
I see Talia here, the pitcher, working corners, really going in and out, working a lot of low pitches. Again, that keeps the ball in the ballpark. That's where we get the ground outs and the double plays and being able to keep that ball in the infield, really. So, and that's working to her team's advantage and their strengths. You know, Hope Weber obviously really able to move and cover a lot of ground over at third base. And that's exactly what keeping that ball low does. It puts them on the ground and allows your infield to do the work. And that's what they want to do with the ball right now, keep it in the infield, because once it goes in the outfield, you're on second base, you're going home.
Yep, you're trying at least. Fouled away from Rice. 2-2 is the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the 1 out. The voices are getting louder around the park, and especially in the dugouts.
Just missing low on that one. That was a really good pitch, a really tempting one. But good eye back there to not swing at that. That is like a perfect ground out pitch. So the idea was there, but didn't get her swinging.
Well, it takes the count loaded now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled away.
Just bailing out a little bit with the back foot. And you see that happen. That tends to happen a lot in the game. In the women's game, when that ball comes inside, we have a really bad habit of moving our back foot, when in actuality you want to turn harder on that back foot and really get those hands through to be able to make contact with that ball and keep it fair in play.
Well, foul ball will give you another bat, especially on a loaded count.
Anything at this point.
Slower pitch, skied it. Maddie Lovett under it, catches it and throws it over to Casey Downs. And now we have 2 outs. How did that game change in the 7th? We're down to the last out. Can Canterbury score a run to tie it? Can they score 2 to win it? We now have Stella Jorgensen in at bat. Can she change it? Outside the zone for ball.
It's these points where you get quiet because you're just watching and waiting. You're like,
Absolutely. Well, I'm still a fan. I still watch it like as a fan, and it's moments, it's games like these you want to watch. But I guess we got to pay attention.
I don't know. Some people might prefer us to be quiet at this
Well,
point.
yeah, well, we're on mute anyway, I'm sure, in a lot of households with Chromecast, I've no doubt. They've got Spotify on the background. 1-1 is the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bottom of the 7th. Tries the slower pitch like she did before. 9 out of 10 times she tries it, they sky it or pop it foul or something. It has worked for her when she's got it in the zone.
As a batter on this pitch, I'm loading up and looking to hit something hard, because right now that pitcher's down in the count. She doesn't want to go any deeper. But if it's not good, if it's not my pitch, I'm still going to leave it.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Up top.
3-1. Got ourselves a ball game.
We do indeed, my friend. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 out, bottom of the 7th, 1 run in it. And is the tying run standing on second base for Cassie Siataga. Fouled away from Jorgensen. That will keep him at bat and take the count to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Oh.
As a batter, you're getting on any way you can at the moment. You have Carly Warahiko on deck, who we know has done some damage today.
Yes, she has
been. Has the composure. She's been there. She's done that. But 3-2. This is it. What's happening?
Up top for the walk. That will put a runner on 1, a runner on 2, and that will bring to bat the catcher, Carly Warahiko, who she's been having a day. She skied it to right field in the first and second. Can she be the hero of this one?
Bit hesitant there. Bit hesitant for Carly, but hey, look, we've got the tying run at 2 and the winning run over at 1. The winning run on base. We have 2 outs and a strike against the batter.
We do, but just imagine if she too hesitant on that one and just fallen in front and gone, and that was the ball game. So you got to make sure, especially in the bottom of the 7th, because here we go.
Make your swing count.
Absolutely. No balls, 1 strike. Outside pitch.
What I've been noticing in this last inning is Talia's, the pitcher here, throwing balls are balls and strikes are strikes. What I mean by that are the strikes are, she's starting to get a little bit wider in the zone. The strikes are a little bit more obvious, which is going to make it easier for the batter to know when to swing.
Yep.
So she needs to start painting that gray around the zone a little bit more to make the bad pitches a bit more tempting.
Right. Down in the dirt. Emma Francis scoops it up.
And you have to be confident. You have to be confident to throw that ball down. And there was obviously some communication going on saying, hey, she's starting to cheat. She's getting off the base. Let's hold her to it.
Well, Maddie Lovett there to make the play, but unfortunately just bouncing off the glove. But they'll keep Siataga honest on second base. Trying that up top slower pitch again. Takes the count. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Pitcher starting to show a little bit of frustration.
Yep.
Not quite getting the ball to where she wants. I don't think it's on the umpire. I think it's on frustration on herself. But big moments here. 3-1.
Absolutely. It makes you a better player for it. Down in the dirt. And just like that.
Just when we thought it couldn't get any more exciting,
know, right?
there, bases loaded, 2 outs.
Well, Wellington, call time. You have a quick corridor in the middle of the field. Coach might join them as well. No time limit, just stroll on out.
Yeah, make the most
How
of the
deep are we in this one?
Ooh, definitely over the 2-hour mark.
Oh, yes, we are. I'll tell you what will tell us is Sky Sports YouTube, where you can probably watching us live right now. Oh, 240 of you.
Yeah, we've got a good game here
70,
tonight.
sorry.
Up to bat for Canterbury.
Just says live, doesn't say how long. Oh well, we'll figure it out later. We are still here, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the 7th, Wellington leading this one 6-5. Bases loaded for Canterbury. And top of the shop, Alyssa Laurie. Top of the zone again for the ball. Loaded bases, 2 down. Canterbury with all the grit here to see it out after leading the whole game until the 7th.
See, she wanted to pull the trigger on that one, but she just held back a little bit hesitant again. And it's one of those things at this point in the game, you need to pull the trigger and you need to hit it hard somewhere. Because even if you put it hard at someone's feet, you know, pressure's on them still to make that play. So if you're going to put it in play, put it in hard.
Drops in the zone for a strike called. That takes the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. On Alyssa Laurie, the left fielder, has got on base twice today. Popped up in the first and popped up in the third, but was stranded on base in the 3rd and the 6th. Now's the time to move the ball. Trying to use all that zone are the Wellingtonians.
You almost wonder if pitcher Talia here walking a few batters it's not an ideal time to pick a walk, but is she just really trying to work the pitcher? I don't know. Really wait for that, you know, that good pitch. Oh, and Emma Francis pulling up. She looked like she was. Oh, I know she has some dodgy knees. Not sure what that was about. I know sometimes catchers, their clips come undone and all sorts, but that was more of a, it looked like more of a quick ouch sort of situation, but we're back in it.
2-2 count here. The voice is getting louder around the park. She gets a piece, Hope Weber. She wins it for Wellington, just like she has done the whole game. Hope Weber with the magic glove, the golden glove in the hot corner, making the play for the outs at first base. And Wellington winning this one with 4 runs in the 7th after Canterbury leading this whole game. Jennifer, what was that key? What was that key for Wellington to turn this around in the 7th and take this win?
Hey, so much to say about that one. That was a crazy game, but I mean, like we said, they just had to chip away, and you know the cards were not in their favor at that moment, but they chipped away, little things at a time, just executed, found a way to get on. But Hope Weber being a big player in that game with the stick, really getting that rally going for them and breaking open that goose egg in the game, and then really being solid for her team over at third base. All around team effort, but I think excellent, well done job today to Hope.
Absolutely. Well, we have a big one coming up. Last thoughts on this one, what you saw from your pitches, that you're going to be writing notes about them later, and just the Canterbury, how they went through the game by setting the standard, unfortunately just losing it at the end.
Hey, I think it was an outstanding pitching effort from both sides. The runs were kept down at the start. Amy doing a really good job coming out, really hitting her spots, getting Wellington to chase. Cassie coming in, still doing her job, unfortunately just having some really unlucky Texas leaguers, but still doing her job. And again, for Wellington, both pitchers coming in and keeping that ball in the infield. There weren't many really big hits in this game. There were a few, but there weren't a lot. So it shows that the pitching's moving in the right direction. and we've got a lot to look forward to this week.
Absolutely. Well, mate, thank you so much for joining me in commentary today. You're going to stick around. I'm going to go away. You'll be hearing me loud in the background on the ground commentary for this next one, which is bound to be a big one. It's Hutt Valley taking on Auckland next up. But for me, I am done. Damien Collins for day 2 here at the 2021 National Fastpitch Championship. Thank you to my colour commentator, Jennifer Ferret-Breer.
Nailed it.
Thank you for the interview for the last couple hours, featuring a game of women's softball in the background. No, appreciate it, guys. Stick around because coming up next is the big one. It's Auckland versus Hutt Valley. We'll see you down the road.